So I'm out here in the GB9 garage and I'm thinking to myself, what do my viewers want to see? Do they want to see more cowbell?
I gotta have more cowbell, baby.
Maybe, but I don't have a cowbell. Maybe they want to learn more about fender clips. Yeah, that's what they want. All right, well today we're going to dive deep into the fender clip. So let me build a little jig so that we can get this thing put into a position that is much like it is in the car, and then we can really examine this thing and see what it does and how it works. Sounds fun to me? Let's do it. While I build this jig, I would really appreciate it if you would take the time to go ahead and click the link down below in the description and go check out CoffeeBrandCoffee. These guys are awesome. I love their coffee. I love the fact that they don't roast any of the beans until you order them. So it's all freshly roasted just when you order it. They have a ton of different flavors. So they got all kinds of coffee. They even have K-Cups if you want, the K-Cups for your morning coffee. I'm into hot chocolate because, well, I'm not supposed to drink as much coffee as I used to. Wife's gonna get me to get off of that stuff. So they got some peppermint cocoa and some rich caramel cocoa, which is awesome stuff. But I still do partake of some coffee now and again. And I love their bourbon flavored coffee. If you really want to get going and get a lot done in the garage, they have the double caffeinated stuff, so you can really get going. And then they have the light roast, the medium roast, the dark roast. I mean, anything you want. And then, of course, we've got a bunch of other flavors as well if you're into the flavored coffee thing. So please do me a huge favor. Go check it out. If you can order something from there, it would help the channel. So, of course, I appreciate it. But you'll also get a quality brand coffee that doesn't come with any gimmicks. It's not messing around. They're not doing anything silly. So just go check it out. If nothing else, they've got some great gift ideas for someone, maybe the coffee lover or cocoa lover in your family. Got some great snacks, things like that. So it's Christmas time. You better get your orders in though quick because definitely getting close to Christmas. So anyway, there you go. Built out this rig and we'll go from there. Well, one thing I noticed for sure, and no matter how much cleaning I did on this thing, or as far as the print process is concerned and the slicing process. And if you're not familiar with 3D printing and the slicing idea, then don't worry about it. But when I print this out, all the flat surfaces I can get nice and smooth. So that's easy enough. But this one little bit here, and I'll show you a close up. This little slopes up where where the fender is going to go in and sort of slide up and then click over. That slope up is really tough to get smooth in the printing process because as it does each layer, it's just going to sort of step up. So it creates a bit of a little rough edge. And it's not crazy rough, like to your fingers, it doesn't feel rough at all. But when you've got the edge of the fender trying to go in there, it kind of catches a little bit. So I'm just going to take the Dremel, the little sanding drum on there, and I'm just going to smooth it out just a tad, just to get that to sort of slide over that a little bit easier. So here is the clip with that white background. Hopefully it's a little bit easier to see, but you can see that right there, there's that slope right there. And so that part right there, it's going to be really tough for you to see the ridges, but it gets a little bit of a sort of set of ridges on there, little bumps. And so I'm just going to smooth that out so that the fender clip will slide, or the fender will actually slide up that little slope and then click over the other side. All right, so what I've done here is I've created a little jig so that I can mount this fender clip to the bottom of this piece of wood here, and I'm going to mount that to this so I can get a really good view for you to see how the fender would slide into this clip. And then I've printed off also a mock up of what that piece of front bumper looks like, or what it is. So this is basically the mock up of that front bumper and where it slides into that clip. I'll show you. Okay, so here is the front bumper. And this is my little mock-up piece of it that goes right there. So this is just basically matches up with everything there, dimension-wise. And then it allows me to sort of move this in and out. So I can, pretend like this is the bumper there, but then move it out. So it should be the right thickness. I've rounded it off as best I could to sort of match, how rounded off this is. So let me see if I get this to focus here. Focus, but anyway, so there you go. It's kind of rounded off. The only thing is the inside of the little square might not be quite as softly rounded as the fender or the bumper is here, but I think it's close enough for what we're trying to do here. Okay, so I'm gonna put a couple screws in this so we can sort of play with it outside of the car where I can get better angles for you to see. All right, so now I'm just going to mount this on here and we'll have ourselves a little mock-up of a fender. All right, so now we have the basically the front fender. That's what this is basically pretending to be. And then we have the clip on there. And then now we'll have our bumper and we can slide our bumper in there and click it in. So let me try to get some different camera angles so you can see that better. Okay, we got everything set up here. When I printed off this bumper, I printed it off in blue so it would hopefully contrast enough with the black so you can kind of see what's going on here. All right, so if we look, here's our bumper. It's going in and it kind of pushes past that little ramp up there and then it locks in place. So now, you know, your bumper is locked in and won't come out. That's the whole idea about this clip. And then the way this is removed is you pull down on the little front tab here, you pull that down, which moves that little ramp out of the way, and now you can slide it out of there. So when it's locked in, can't pull it out. Push this tab down, and then you can pull it out. Now, Steve was theorizing that maybe you could slide if you were working on this. So here's your fender coming down, and then this would be the bumper, and it would turn down so it would have a smooth transition here, but I have the tab to grab onto. But he was sort of pontificating that you could put something in between there, some type of a flat tool to come in and then make contact with this tab to push it down so you could pull this out. I don't see that being the case. This is a pretty tight fit in here, and I believe this is going to be even a little tighter on the actual car. I made this a little bit thinner to sort of make it easier for me to do this demonstration. But I believe that that's too thin, and then I don't see how you could get anything in between the two pieces of body that would come in here and then have any ability to push on this because it'd have to be really flat to get in there. So I'm pretty sure that the only way to remove this is to pull with your finger, or there's some weird tool that from underneath the car, but I don't think that's necessary. You just put your finger there and pull that out, and then that would pull that out. So that's how that works. And I think I've got this design pretty set up now. I have now printed them off with, I don't know if we can see this with enough light there, but I got a little GB9 Garage logo. Oh, there we go. A little GB9 Garage in there. I've got the ramp on that thing, so it's sitting nicely. I also, on these newer versions, I added a little bit of a fillet around the top of this ramp so that when it's in, it can come out a little easier. And then if you see here, you see that little bit of a bump up there, right where the hole is. So there was a little ridge around the outside of that hole. And what that does, it fits inside the hole that's on the fender, the fender. There's a sort of a larger hole there, and this goes in there, and that kind of keeps it centered in that hole there while you rivet it in. So again, it'll sit flush, just like this one's sitting flush on the fender, because that bumped up ridge there will go inside that hole. So there you go. Everything you could possibly want to know, and maybe a little more than what you wanted to know about the Aston Martin fender clip. Now, you could just buy this from Scuderia. They're, I think, $30 a piece. So, I recommend, if you really want to keep things clean, to go ahead and just buy one from them. But like I said before, to buy two of them, $60 plus they wanted shipping and tax and handling and all that stuff, and it got up to a little over $100. And I've got time, so why not mess around? So I played around and I made my own. I'm going to put these in the car, and I think I'm going to be pretty happy with the fact that they work just fine. I will get all of these parts together, get all the files together. I'll throw these up on Thingiverse, and I'll put a link in the description below. So if you want to download these yourself and print them off, you can use them. Again, this little section, this little ramp there, I recommend just smoothing that out a little bit. Although I think that my little mock-up of the fender was a little sharp on the edges here, and I think the actual fender is a little softer. The roll there is a little more. So I don't think that it's actually going to cause a lot of grabbing, but as you can kind of maybe hear, see that right there, that with this causes just a little bit of a grab there,
But I think with the actual fender, I don't think it will grab it that much because it's a much softer roll on the front of that. So there you go. You can decide. With that Dremel and that little barrel sander there, to be quite honest, I think it took a little bit more off than I wanted. So maybe I would just take a little piece of. I might just use the barrel but with my hand rather than with the Dremel, so that it doesn't take off as much material. There you go. So there is our lesson today on fender clips. No cowbell, but give it a shot. And again, if you are so inclined, I would really appreciate it if you go check out Coffee Brand Coffee, place an order over there, get a gift box, get some coffee for yourself, some cocoa for yourself or your kids. It would greatly help the channel. I truly appreciate it. If you're enjoying this video and these all these videos I'm making, please consider subscribing. Again, I would greatly appreciate that as well. Otherwise, I should get the tray in today. It's supposed to be here yesterday, but hopefully it comes in today, that I will be using to drain that transmission down. So I went ahead and took Steve's advice and got one of those pet kennel trays to put underneath there to try to catch as much fluid as possible. And so that should be here today. And then I can get going on that transmission hopefully tomorrow or Sunday. So there you go. Thank you very much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the transmission, which will be coming later on this weekend. And we'll see you next time on GB9 Garage.